poll must be free and fair and reflects the will of the people, President Tinubu insists as Osun decides tomorrow.
Into a skill-based profession, which is what it is. You've developed national occupational standard.
Agriculture-related studies in Nigerian tertiary institutions to constitute 80% practical and 20% theory.
States, on the other hand, require national technical, regulatory, financial, and market support.
And no land grab for livestock, federal government clarifies as it transforms model on agriculture. Hello and thank you for joining us on the news. I am Lami Ali. In Lagos, our Yusuf Jibo will bring us the latest updates from the nation's commercial center. And here in Abuja, Benny Adams has the latest numbers at the close of business today. Benny, what was the dominant color at the end of business at the market in Nigeria today?
Well, talking about the Nigerian stock market, it was a bearish day, which means an opportunity for new investors to invest in prospective shares. And in other news, it's more news for Nigerian pensioners, more money for them for survival and possibly business. We'll give you details in the course of the bulletin.
And of course, in the sports corner, we have Gift George for the latest updates from the world of sports. So what's new, Gift?
Well, the Super Falcons head coach Justin Madugu has tendered unreserved apology to Nigerians for the failure of the Super Falcons to qualify for the FIFA World Cup Cup 2027. Details on our sports update.
All right, we begin with election matters. But remember, you can join us live on nta.ng/live and join the conversation on other platforms of the NTA as we have on the social media handles displayed on your screen. President Bola Tinubu has called on the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, and security agencies to ensure a peaceful, transparent and credible governorship election in Osun State. The president made the call as the people of Osun State prepare to go to the polls on Saturday, August 15th, to elect their governor for the next 4 years. In a statement by his special advisor on information and strategy, Bayo Ononuga, President Tinubu urged INEC to ensure the orderly conduct and integrity of the electoral process, calling on security agencies to provide maximum security at polling units and as well protect voters and electoral officials from intimidation or disruption. The president encouraged eligible voters to come out and exercise their civic responsibility, assuring them that necessary measures have been put in place to guarantee their safety before, during, and after the election. President Tinubu says the Osun election is the last off-cycle governorship poll before the 2027 elections and urged INEC to use it to demonstrate its preparedness for the next general elections. Now, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has commenced the distribution of sensitive election materials to the 30 local government areas of Osun State ahead of Saturday's governorship election. Mie Ogidi monitored the exercise in Osogbo, the Osun State capital, and now reports.
State governorship election now in hours, not in weeks. It is quite a sensitive moment, and it is also that time to distribute sensitive election materials to the 30 local government areas as 15 political parties set for 15th of August 2026 contest. In moments like this, no night, no day, work non-stop to beat deadline. It's 10 p.m. Thursday, August 13th. Party agents, INEC officials, journalists and election observers have single mission here: to get the sensitive election materials at the CBN Osogbo office. Items received, yes, all complete, as the INEC Resident Electoral Commissioner Luatoyin Babalola and party agents sign in affirmation.
We're particularly worried, after the court pronouncement which led to, the logistical challenge that require INEC to go back to start printing, ballot papers at the same time result sheets. We felt that it would affect this election, probably call for maybe postponement, but it's a good thing that the material has arrived.
What's important to us is that the materials are here and they are sealed. And so we do not want to say that some other persons have any access to any other thing that we don't have.
Our situation so far, I can say that we are here and we saw the arrival of the materials and distribution of these materials into various local government of the state.
Verification done, movement commences to the local government areas ahead of Saturday contest. In Osogbo, Mayor Ogede, NTA News.
All eyes are on Osun State as the people prepare to go to the polls tomorrow to elect their next governor. With final preparations underway, political parties are making last-minute efforts while security agencies assure residents of a peaceful and orderly exercise. Now, let's join Femi Afariogun in Osogbo. So, Femi, how prepared is Osun State for tomorrow's governorship election, particularly in terms of voter security and other logistics to ensure a smooth and seamless exercise?
Thank you, Lami. The journey to this Osun governorship election began on the 24th November last year with party primaries. In 12 hours now, we have the climax of the Osun governorship election. It has been relatively calm now in the last 24 hours in Osogbo and other areas in Osun State. Currently now, I'm at Okefia, one of the major junctions in the state capital. As you can see, people are just whiling away time and maybe getting prepared for tomorrow's election. So far, so good. The security situation has been good. You hardly will you see any street or area that you won't see security personnel on point, ensuring that there is no fear for tomorrow's election. Going to INEC office, you find security personnel everywhere. Hardly with 5 minutes pass without you hearing the siren of security personnel passing through major streets. Now the sensitive and non-sensitive materials are at the registration area camp, rack, getting set to be distributed to the various polling units tomorrow for the election. So far, so good. It has been relatively calm in the last 24 hours.
About security arrangements and also logistics for... All right, Femi, we don't have much time. We're still going to get back to you, much likely later in the course of the bulletin. We thank you for the update so far. Now, the Federal Road Safety Corps has deployed 2,500 personnel and 50 vehicles for the Osun State governorship election on Saturday. The Corps says the deployments across the 3 senatorial districts will ensure traffic management, emergency response, and compliance with the no movement order. Co-Marshal Shehu Mohammed said personnel will operate with professionalism and neutrality in synergy with other security agencies to ensure a peaceful election. Still on election matters, INEC has restored 4 more previously suppressed State House of Assembly constituencies, 3 in Delta and 1 in Kogi states. In a statement by the INEC National Commissioner and Chairman, Information and Voter Education Committee, Mohammed Kudu Haruna says the action is pursuant to the judgments of the courts directing the restoration of the additional constituencies in the 2 states. In Delta State, Abraka, Sokon North 2 and Ugeli South 2 state constituencies were restored, while in Kogi State, Yagba West 2 state constituency is also back. The Commission has fixed 21st to 25th August 2026 for the conduct of party primaries for the restored constituencies, as this coincides with the period for the conduct of primaries for by-elections to fill recent vacancies in some federal and state constituencies in Gombe, Bauchi, Kano, and Delta states, scheduled for 9th September 2026. Now to other matters. The federal government says it is not grabbing land for livestock development, but pursuing a transformative model that respects Nigeria's diversity while unlocking the sector's economic potential. The Minister of Livestock Development, Idi Mukhtar Meha, disclosed this while briefing the media on strategies for advancing the Renewed Hope Livestock Transformation Drive. He says the model brings together the federal and state governments with the private sector to mobilize coordinated investments and unlock opportunities across the livestock value chain. Yusuf Jika has the details.
Nigeria's livestock sector remains an economic cornerstone, contributing significantly to GDP while providing livelihoods for thousands across the country. To replace the industry on a stronger growth path, the Minister of Livestock Development, Idi Mukhtar Meha, says the ministry has adopted a federal state-private sector model, ensuring every value chain gets the attention and investment needed to thrive.
FMLD will not develop every species in every location in the country. States, on the other hand, require national technical, regulatory, financial, and market support. The answer, therefore, is a disciplined state, federal, private sector partnership that will drive the desired transformation.
The minister says this tripartite approach can strengthen Nigeria's food and nutrition sovereignty, create wealth for women and youth, transform rural economies, reduce waste, support peace, and ultimately drive shared prosperity. In Abuja, Yusuf Jika, NTA News.
Time now for a short break on NTA Network News. When we return, Vice President's wife inaugurates alternative school in Lagos. Stay with us. Leaders from the National Assembly today joined President Bola Tinubu to observe Jumma'ah prayer in the State House. Speaker of the House of Representatives, Tajuddin Abbas, the National Security Advisor, Nuhu Ribadu, among others, as well as top government officials, were part of the congregation. The Assistant Chief Imam of the State House Mosque, Muhammad Musa Oho, admonished the congregation on the importance of the obligatory 5 daily prayers in Islam. He enjoined them to maintain good spiritual relationship with God as they seek His protection and provisions. The Imam prayed for sound health and wisdom for the President, his subordinates, and others heading other arms of government to succeed in piloting the affairs of the nation. Now, the virtues of the Prophet of Islam, Prophet Muhammad, may the peace and blessings of Allah be with him, that were good to all irrespective of relationship, remain a compass to all Muslims for harmonious coexistence with people of other faiths. This is the thrust of the sermon of Jumma'ah prayers as the National Mosque delivered by the Secretary General of World Muslims League, Sheikh Abdul Karim Isa, before he led the 2 rak'ah prayers. Abdullahi Musa Slija has the story.
The international Islamic scholar arrived Abuja on Monday for a 2-day international conference on diversity and peaceful coexistence, organized by the Jibwis in collaboration with the league he's leading. After the Jumma'ah prayer, his host saw him off to the airport en route Saudi, led by the Director General, Voice of Nigeria, Jibrin Baba Ndache, on behalf of the Minister of Information and National Orientation.
We need to also live together, and when you have opportunity to speak for your religion, you do that with a lot of decorum. We respect the other person's religion, and this is the preaching of our Sheikh today. This is the point that the minister have always been emphasizing.
We have to copy what our noble Prophet Muhammad ﷺ has done in Medina. He lived well with the Yahud and the Christians as well. And there is a constitution of Medina which by between the Muslim Ummah and the Christians or the Jews.
The Islamic World Muslim League is based in Mecca, Saudi Arabia.
Nigeria's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu has inaugurated another alternative high school for girls as part of Renewed Hope initiative goals towards providing access to education for the Nigerian child. Represented by wife of the Vice President, Nana Shetima, the First Lady commended the Universal Basic Education Commission's efforts in the establishment of more alternative high schools for girls across the country. State House correspondent Abdurrahman Jibrila reports.
Wife of the Vice President in Lagos, received by wife of the Lagos State Governor, Ibikjoke Sanwo-Olu, with entertainers to welcome her to the Center of Excellence. Then proceeded to the venue of the renovated First Alternative High School for Girls in Agboju, Amou in Lagos State. The vision is part of the federal government's renewed move towards making skills part of school's curriculum.
I hereby officially commission the renovated High School for Girls in Abuja for the glory of God and for the benefit of humanity.
This school was established in the year 2007 by President Bola Tinubu when he was governor of Lagos State, with the aim of providing alternative access for the girl child to complete higher education and acquire skills.
The plan is to establish at least one alternative high school for girls in each of the 3 senatorial districts of Lagos State. I am pleased that Lagos West and Lagos East now have one school each, leaving Lagos Central as remaining district. I therefore urge the Lagos State government to complete the plan by establishing an additional school in Lagos Central, while ensuring the smooth operation and proper maintenance of all the schools so that more girls can complete their education. To the students, I encourage you to take the most of this opportunity. Let your personal define your future. With determination, discipline, and hard work, you can achieve your dreams and become positive contributors to our nation's development.
The Alternative High School for Girls exists for girls and young women whose education might have been interrupted for one reason or another. It gives them the opportunity to return to learning, acquire useful skills, and find a new pathway towards a productive and fulfilling future.
Lagos State government promised to utilize the equipment provided for educational goals and skills development of the Nigerian child.
This rehabilitation is a powerful statement that the first seed planted in Lagos remains precious to you, and Lagosians thank you most sincerely. Your passion for girl child finds a ready partner in Lagos State. Under our Teams Plus agenda, education and technology remain central pillars of our administration.
Stakeholders appreciated the efforts of the federal government through the Universal Basic Education Commission for providing 2 blocks of 26 classrooms fully equipped with vocational training and other relevant skills acquisition facilities expected to give more job opportunities to young Nigerians across different sectors of the economy. From Lagos, Abdurrahman Jibrila, NTA News.
As part of measures to drive youth employment and national food security, the federal government has designed a framework to support a productive swap in agricultural learning modules in tertiary education to make it 80% practical and 20% theory. The reform follows the submission of the final report by the National Implementation Committee on Agricultural Curricula. The curricula comprises 70 newly developed and approved educational instruments, including 36 national diploma and higher national diploma curricula, 3 national certificates in education programs, and 31 national occupational standards, 27 of which were built from scratch.
Agriculture. This assignment has been completed. The regulatory bodies have also considered the reports of this new curriculum.
Every stakeholder that has anything to do with agri must be part and parcel of this rollout, because it's important for the public to understand why the reform, why the initiative. If they don't understand, then the implementation will be faulty right from the onset.
You've turned agriculture now into a skill-based profession, which is what it is. You've developed national occupational standard. Beyond educating them very well, we also need to start guiding them that these are huge opportunities that will give you jobs, that will make you, that will empower you, enrich you economically.
The Ministry of Education says it will collaborate closely with tertiary institutions and agricultural industry stakeholders for immediate implementation. Now, the Imo State government is set to host the 2026 conference of the National Council on Finance and Economic Development. The Commissioner for Finance, Chukwuemeka, disclosed this while briefing newsmen in Owerri. Beatrice Anyam reports.
The annual conference of the National Council on Finance and Economic Development, NACOFED, which will be holding in Owerri, the Imo State capital, starting from Monday, August 17, 2026, will bring together stakeholders in the financial sector, including the Minister of Finance and the Coordinating Minister of the Economy, who is the chairman of the conference, the Accountant General of the Federation, State Commissioners of Finance and other financial experts in the country. Commissioner for Finance, Imo State, Chuck Chukwuemeka, says they are to deliberate on policies and strategies capable of strengthening Nigeria's revenue base, promoting equitable resource allocation, and building a resilient economy. He revealed that the Imo State Governor, Hope Uzodinma, is to declare the conference open.
They will be here to basically deliberate on ways that the economy of the country will continue to be strengthened. This is the first time Imo State is hosting this body, and actually this is also the first time that any state in the Southeast has hosted them.
According to the Commissioner, the conference will also afford the state government the opportunity of showcasing its achievements and business potentials to the stakeholders. In Owerri, Beatrice Anyam, NTA News.
Network News continues in Lagos with Awal Yusuf Jibu. Hello, Awal.
Thank you, Lami, and welcome to Lagos. The Nigerian Media Merit Awards, NMMA, is set to begin the rigorous assessment of entries for its 2025 awards, with 972 submissions qualifying for scrutiny. At a press conference in Lagos, the Chairman, Board of Trustees, Professor Dayo Duile, said the platform remains committed to promoting excellence, professionalism, and integrity in Nigerian journalism. Hyacinth Oba reports that a panel of assessors is expected to evaluate and submit reports to the Board of Trustees within 6 weeks.
Out of the 1,112 entries received for the 2025 awards, 972 met the required criteria and have now been presented to the panel of assessors for evaluation.
NMMA is here to produce people like you who can chest out, submitting your stories, submitting your feature articles that you have written that has turned you into what I call prominence, to the people who are going to assess in NMMA to judge whether you are really performing your duties, and at the end of which you get a prize.
The chairman panel of assessors, Otumba Dele Adetiba, explained that the 27-member panel comprises eminent media scholars and experienced retired professionals who will independently assess the entries against established standards. The report of the panel, according to the chairman, will be submitted to the Board of Trustees in 6 weeks, with nominees and aggregate scores.
We are evaluating entries from the previous year. If you send entries 5 years ago, it will not qualify. And many other rules like that which will affect whether your entry is qualified or not.
The 34th edition of Nigerian Media Merit Award is expected to recognize reporters editors, and media organizations whose work demonstrates accuracy, depth, creativity, and professional excellence. In Lagos, Hyacinth Oba, NTA News.
Away from that, Lagos State Ministry of Science and Technology is seeking a symbiotic partnership with the Federal Institute of Industrial Research, Oshodi, to upscale its research prowess to proffer innovative solutions that will accelerate the attainment of the nation's developmental target. Joel Popola reports that this formed part of the thrust of a visit by a delegation from the ministry to Firu.
The Federal Institute of Industrial Research, Oshodi, has come a long way, preferring homegrown solutions and boosting the capacity of Nigeria by raising the bar in local content. The strength of the 70-year-old research institute is what the Lagos State Ministry of Science and Technology wants to leverage, as it is now set to also go into research. The permanent secretary of the ministry, Olayinka Shorungbe, who was represented, and other members of the delegation expressed confidence that FIRO has the expertise, hence the need for the collaboration.
Now that with the creation of Office of Science, we look around and we realize that there is a need for people that will collaborate together. We want to see the whole research work turn onto a kind of workable activities. Something that will be able to make life to get better for the citizens, including you and I, and then the environment will be far better as well.
The Director General and Chief Executive Officer, FIRO, Jumma'ah Adamu Tutua, assured the delegation of FIRO's support, adding that the partnership with the ministry is a mutual benefit, as it will also add value to FIRO.
The mandate includes develop appropriate technologies in the area of food, agro-allied processing, and in various non-food uses, assist in the transfer and utilization of these technologies by local manufacturing industries.
FIRO is one of the institutions in Nigeria and in the institute in Lagos that absorb a lot of IT students from various universities.
The synergy is expected to provide the much needed research to accelerate development in key sectors of the nation's economy. In Lagos, Joel Popola, NTA News.
Well, that's our contribution from Lagos. It's back to Lami for the continuation of Network News.
Thank you for staying. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has urged Nigerians in the diaspora to start building productive stakes in the country's economy. The president stated this in a message through his chief of staff, Femi Gbajabiamila, to the 3-day Nigeria Diaspora Economic Conference 2026, holding in Canada. The president described Nigerians in the diaspora as living proof that the Nigerian spirit can compete with the best in the world, while citing real GDP growth of 3.89% in the first quarter of 2026, manufacturing expansion of 3.29%, inflation easing to 15.91%, and foreign reserves closing 2025 at $45.4 billion. The president noted that economic growth, political stability, and security remains the primary factors guiding where investors put their money, adding that Nigeria's indicators point to a country in genuine recovery.
He argues that the foundations is being prepared, the economy is responding, and the work must be consolidated until ordinary Nigerians feel the full benefit. That is the partnership he asks of you.
The president urged Nigerians abroad to channel capital into agro-processing, healthcare, technology, energy, housing, logistics, mining, education, creative industries, and export manufacturing. The theme for the conference is Thrive Abroad, Invest in Nigeria. Nigeria and other West African countries have signed a landmark memorandum of understanding in Sokoto to streamline trans-border onion trade, strengthen market access, and prevent trade disputes across the sub-region. The agreement established a common framework for identifying exporters and importers, ensuring compliance with national laws and resolving disputes through mutual consultation rather than unilateral restrictions. Abdullahi Umar Ilalu completes the reports.
The development follows disagreement among onion traders in the sub-region, which disrupted the movement of Nigerian onions to some markets in Ghana. The agreement involves stakeholders from Nigeria, Benin, Niger, Burkina Faso, Ghana's Kumasi market, Cote d'Ivoire and Mali. Representing the Sokoto state government, the Commissioner for Commerce, Trade and Industry described the agreement as significant to Sokoto, given its strategic position in regional onion trade. He announced plans to establish a one-stop shop within 2 months, bringing together customs, immigration, quarantine, revenue and other relevant agencies to simplify export procedures and minimize delays.
The agreement has the potential to promote a more orderly trading environment and strengthen commercial relationships among participating countries.
Stakeholders said the agreement must go beyond the signing ceremony and translate into concrete action.
The agreement is just simply talking about some rules and regulations within the ECOWAS treaty that we must follow for us to be able to do our trade amongst ourselves.
We commend
the Regional Observatory of Onion in West and Central Africa for coming up with this framework to address and prevent future crises.
The stakeholders also emphasized that effective implementation, mutual respect, and sustained cooperation are essential to turning the agreement into a practical solution to cross-border disputes and a stronger driver of regional economic growth. In Sokoto, Abdullah Omar Ilalu, NTA News.
Let's join Benny for business news.
Kilami, more on business. The federal government has disbursed a total of 3,817,568,592 naira 80 kobo in accrued pension arrears to 30,353 pensioners. Talking about beneficiaries including defined benefit scheme pensioners across parastatals, pension department defunct as well as transfer agencies, pension department, and tertiary education as well as health pension department. This is contained in a statement by head of corporate communications of PITAD, Olugbenga Ajayi. Olugbenga says the payment represents accrued arrears arising from the back-end computation review exercise to resolve complaints relating to pension computations and outstanding entitlement of DBS pensioners. For the Executive Secretary of PITAD, Tolu Lokpe Odunaya, the payment reflects the commitment of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in addressing pension-related issues and strengthening pension administration under the defined benefit scheme. Away from welfare now, let's look at the global market where gold prices fell this Friday and were set for a weekly decline as investors took profits following a rally between softer expected U.S. inflation data. Eric Ditton is president and managing director of the Wealth Alliance. He tells us more on this. Well, it seems that is not ready for now. We'll look at the stock market. At this point, the Nigerian exchange wrapped up the week on a mixed note as investors traded 1.37 billion shares valued at 15.26 billion across 39,072 deals, while trading volume jumped 133% compared to Thursday. Total market value dropped by 29% and total deals activity slipped by at least 6%. This indicates that while more shares exchange hands, the activity has concentrated in lower valued equities rather than the high price stocks. In all, the market closed negative, but it's an opportunity for investors to invest as we have 31 stocks dropping in prices against 21 that gained out of a total of 134 active equities. Well, that is it and business for the week. Lami, it's nice doing business with you.
Thank you, Benny, for the update in business. Now, in a bid to deepen inter-military cooperation and strengthen counter-terrorism between Nigeria and the United States of America, the Minister of Defense, General Christopher Musa, the National Security Advisor, Nuhu Ribadu, alongside top military officials have concluded a high-level bilateral engagement with United States authorities in Washington, D.C. Special Advisor on Media to the Minister of Defense, Leah Katung-Babatunde, states, thus the engagement serves as a direct continuation of the United States-Nigeria Joint Working Group Defense bilateral talks, focusing on shared security architecture, intelligence collaboration, and operational synergies. The Nigerian delegation held robust discussions with senior cabinet officials of the U.S. Department of State, the National Security Advisor, Nuhu Ribadu, and Alison Hooker, the U.S. Undersecretary of State for Political Affairs, reviewed actionable progress and strategic frameworks following Nigeria's designation as a country of particular concern. Both sides reaffirmed their commitment to sustain dialogue, mutual respect, and strategic alliance in combating global and regional threats. Amid the hustle and bustle of Karshi markets on the outskirts of the FCT, the Nigerian Navy has held a medical outreach, building bridges of trust by taking healthcare to the market stalls. Defense correspondent Naja'atu Tijani was there.
Amidst the hustle and bustle of Karshi market on the outskirts of Abuja, the stage is being set for something unusual. Traders and buyers queue to check blood pressure, sugar levels, malaria, receiving free consultation, medicine, and insecticide-treated mosquito nets. Linda says the intervention has saved her both time and money.
I don't actually have time like that. So as I see them, I'm so happy, I'm so excited.
With this medical outreach, an initiative of the construction arm of the Navy, led by Rear Admiral Haruna Sabu, healthcare has been brought to the market stalls.
It's not just healthcare delivery. It is building trust, improving welfare, and winning hearts and minds of the populace.
I have nothing to thank the Nigerian ministry for this effort and just towards their contribution towards humanity.
Some of us don't have access to hospitals because of proximity, distance, transport, and every other thing. So why it is in our domain now, I think we're good.
The Nigerian Navy, through its building and construction arm, strengthens civil-military relations, showing that houses are not the only thing it builds, but also trust and bridges of goodwill. Naja'atu Tijani, NTA News.
Now, President Bola Tinubu has congratulated Professor Ibrahim Abubakar on his appointment as CEO of the Coalition for Epidemic Preparedness Innovations, CEPI. The president described it as recognition of Nigeria's contributions to global health leadership. Professor Abubakar of University College London will assume office in April 2027. Also, the Radio, Television, Theatre and Arts Workers Union, RETAU, has applauded President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for appointing Mr. Adeola Oluwatosin Ajayi as Director General of the Department of State Services, DSS, describing him as a man of integrity and proven capacity. RATAO President Comrade Prince Emeka Kalu made the commendation during a media security critical engagement and strategic partnership for national development, where the DSS Director General was conferred with the Golden Era Pillar of Critical and Strategic Intelligence for National Development Award. We take another break to bring you another set of messages, after which Gift George will be here with sports news.
It's a warm welcome to Sports Updates. We begin with combat sports. In a bid to advance karate development in Nigeria, the Karate Federation of Nigeria, KFN, held its first meeting on Thursday to formally launch the tenure of its new president, Elekwachi Dimkpa, and the constituted board members. During the session, the board examined key sections of the KF Constitution, focusing on the roles and duties of board members and flagged areas needed for further clarification. The board also revisited the suspension of Dave Jegede ultimately deciding to lift and fully reinstate him to all KFN activities and appointing him as the technical director.
Back to the top of, to take his rightful place at the top of the sport. But we believe right now with the support of every single stakeholder, the NSC, UFAC, WKF, we will eventually fast track the growth of karate in Nigeria.
To women's football now, Super Falcons head coach Justin Madugu has apologized following his side's disappointing outing at the 2026 Women's Africa Cup of Nations. The 10-time African champions were knocked out of the competition in the quarterfinals by the indomitable Lionesses of Cameroon. Nigeria also failed to secure a place in the Inter-Confederation playoffs after suffering a 2-1 defeat to arch-rival South Africa, a result that ended their hopes of qualifying for the 2027 FIFA Women's World Cup. The setback means the Super Falcons will miss the Women's World Cup for the first time since the tournament's inception in 1991.
Target is to take karate back to the top of, to take his rightful place at the top.
Well, that does it on Sports Update. Is back to Lami.
Thank you, Gift, for the update. Now, Kefi in Nasarawa State was filled with grief as family, friends, colleagues and sympathizers gathered to bid a final farewell to late Agatha Joseph Obioha. The respected broadcast professional was laid to rest at her family compound, with mourners reflecting on a life remembered for the education, warmth and meaningful contributions to the Nigerian Television Authority. Suleiman Musa has details.
The final journey of late Agatha Joseph Obioha has come to an end as family members, friends, colleagues and sympathizers gathered in Kefi, Nasarawa State to bid farewell to the respected broadcast professional. She was laid to rest at her family compound amid tears and heartfelt tributes as loved ones came to terms with the painful reality of her passing.
We commit our body to the earth from which it was made. Christ was the first to rise from the dead.
Those who came to pay their last respects remembered Agatha as a warm, dedicated and committed professional.
May Almighty God console the family, forgive our sins, let our body rest in peace.
She's a very kind-hearted woman. She took people's challenge at heart.
As her remains were committed to Mother Earth, family, friends and colleagues continue.
May her soul rest in peace. And this is where we come to the end of the news for today. We thank you for watching. I'm Lami.